Hey guys, so welcome to the linear equations chapter. Let's have a look at the very first question. It says, I'm half the age of my brother. My cousin is 4 years older than I am and 5 years younger than my brother. How old is my brother? Alright, so when it comes to linear equations, guys, we're always going to be dealing with variables, or because it's basically an offshoot of algebra. So let's say my brother is X years old, so that can be my brother. My cousin is 4 years older than I am. So I, right here, so this is me, I am half the age of my brother. So I'm basically X divided by 2. My cousin is 4 years older than I am. So my cousin is X over 2 plus 4, because that's my age, and that's plus 4 is because he's 4 years older. He's also 5 years younger than my brother. So my cousin is also 5 years younger than my brother. So if my brother is X, then my cousin is X minus 5. So as we can see, guys, we have two different equations here with the cousin being the main subject. So the cousin is X over 2 plus 4 in one equation, and cousin is also X minus 5 in another equation. So we can actually make these equal each other because they both equal the cousin's age. Now we can use our ability to do algebra to figure this out. So very first thing, let's take the minus 5 over to the other side and becomes a plus. So that makes it X over 2 plus 4 plus 5 equals X. 4 plus 5 is simply 9. Then let's take the X over 2, which is a positive X over 2, over to the other side as a negative. So that becomes 9 is equal to X minus X over 2. So that's 1X here minus half X. So which is simply 9 equals X over 2, because 1 minus half is simply half. And then using our knowledge again, so taking that 2 to the other side, it becomes a multiplication. So it becomes X is equal to 9 times 2, which is 18. So it says, how old is my brother? Therefore, my brother is 18 years old. Alrighty, let's move on to the next question. Let me just change the background here so it's a little bit easier to read. Okay, so this says, Hyde thinks of a number and adds 4 to it. He then multiplies the result by 5 and then divides that answer by 8. Now the final answer that he gets is 25. What was the original number? So once again, guys, let's denote the original number as X. So that can be our original number. Now it says he thinks of a number and then he adds 4 to it. So that X plus 4, because he's added the 4 over to the original number, which was X. Then he multiplies that result. So he multiplies the result of X plus 4 by 5. So he has now multiplied that by 5. And what he gets, he then divides by 8. So he divides that entire thing by 8. He then gets a final answer of 25. What was the original number? So that right there, guys, we just build up an equation that we now need to solve using our knowledge of algebra. So let's clean this up a little bit and write it properly. So X plus 4 in bracket is being multiplied by 5, which is simply outside the bracket. That whole thing is over 8, which is equal to 25. Now guys, using the knowledge that you may have picked up in the linear equations for beginners course, we're going to start to deconstruct this particular equation so that we are left with X all on its own, which will give us the solution for this particular question. So the very final thing that we would have done when constructing this particular equation, if we were to build it from scratch, was the divided by 8 part, which is exactly what we did. So that's why, in order to solve for this equation, that is the very first thing that we need to get rid of. So let's circle it, and we take it to the other side. Now, divided by 8 is the same as times by 8 on the other side. So this becomes 5 bracket X plus 4 equals 25 times 8. So it becomes 5x plus 4 is equal to 200. Now, let's take the 5 over to the other side as a division because it's a multiplication on the left-hand side. So it becomes x plus 4 equals 200 divided by 5. So x plus 4 equals 200 divided by 5 gives me 40. Now, to get the x on its own, the very final thing we have to get rid of is this plus 4 here. Take it over to the other side as a takeaway. So it becomes x is equal to 40 take away 4. 40 take away 4 gives me 36. So, if the final answer that he gets is 25, what was the original number? The original number was 36. And guys, we can actually double check this by just going through the process again. So Hyde thinks of a number, 36, adds 4 to it, becomes 40. He then multiplies the result by 5. So 40 times 5 gives me 200. He then divides that answer by 8. And 200 divided by 8, as you would know, is 25. So what was the original number? It was 36. And we've just confirmed that that, in fact, is the correct answer. Alrighty, now let's move to the next question. Alright, so this particular question says, Jeremy is 6 years younger than his brother Darren, and the sum of their ages is 26. So how old is Darren? Alright, so Darren is what we need to figure out. So Darren can be X years old. Jeremy, as it says, is 6 years younger. So imagine if Darren was 10 years old, then if Jeremy was 6 years younger, then we would simply do 10 take away 6. However, in this case, we don't know that Darren is 10 years old. We simply know that Darren is X years old. So Jeremy would simply be X minus 6. Now it says, if Jeremy is X minus 6 and the sum of their ages is 26. So if Darren is X, so that's Darren's age, then you add that to Jeremy's age, who is X minus 6. Together, they give us 26 years old. Then we have X plus X, which are the like terms here. So that makes us 2X. Then we have the minus 6, which is equal to 26. Then using our knowledge of algebra again, guys. So once again, please refer back to the linear equations beginner course. It's completely free. So please do make sure you go through that course because it will really help you to answering these particular types of questions. So if we were to construct this particular equation from the very beginning, we would know that minus 6 was the final thing we would have done. Since minus 6 is the final thing we would have done, that is the very first thing we need to do in our attempts to get the x on its own. So take the minus 6 over to the other side, it becomes a plus. So this now becomes 2x is equal to 26 plus 6. So 26 plus 6 gives me 32. So it becomes 2x equals 32. Then we take the 2 over to the other side. Now, since it's a multiplication on the left-hand side, it's a division on the right. So that becomes x equals 32 divided by 2, which is equal to 16. Therefore, Darren is 16 years old. Now, again, guys, we can double check this. So let's go back to the question. It says, Jeremy is 6 years younger than his brother Darren. So if Jeremy is 6 years younger and Darren is 16, so Jeremy would be 16 minus 6, which is 10. And the sum of their ages is 26. So 16 plus 10 does in fact equal 26. So we have the right answer. Alrighty, so now let's move on to the next question. Alright, so this question says, the sum of 3 consecutive odd numbers is 39. What are the 3 numbers? Alright, so let's have a look at 3 consecutive odd numbers. So we have the number 3, which is odd. The next number is the number 5, and the next number will be the number 7. and the next number 9, etc. So as we can see, there is a bit of a pattern here. So from 3 to going to 5, we have plus 2. From 5 going to 7, we again have plus 2. And then from 7 going to 9, we have plus 2. So there is a bit of a pattern when it comes to odd numbers or consecutive odd numbers. So imagine our very first odd number. So imagine our first odd number is the number x, because we obviously don't know what those three odd numbers are that we're looking for. Then our second odd number, in this case, would be x plus 2, because as we can see, if 3 was our original odd number, then 3 plus 2 will give me the next one down, which is the number 5. And then we have the third odd number, which is x. Now you have to be careful here. This is x plus 4, because guys, as we can see, let me use a different color here. So going from the 3 to 2 odd numbers down, we are looking at plus 4. Similarly, if I was to go 3 odd numbers down, I would be looking at plus 6. Okay, so we have the third odd number as x plus 4, the second one as x plus 2, and the first one is simply x. Now it says the sum of 3 consecutive odd numbers is 39. So if I was to take the first odd number, which is x, add it to the second odd number, which is x plus 2, then add it to the third odd number, which is x plus 4, this would give me 39. Now, once again, I'm going to use a different color to indicate my like terms, the ones in pink, and I'm going to use a different color, let's use the red, to indicate the constants here, which are the plus 2 and the plus 4. So, x plus x plus x gives me 3x, 2 plus 4 gives me 6, which is equal to 39. Now, again, using our knowledge of algebra here, guys. So if I was to take that plus 6 over to the other side, I would make it into a minus 6, because we know that the opposite of a plus is a minus. So this becomes 3x is equal to 39 minus 6, which is simply 33. Then, to get the x on its own, I would take that 3 over to the other side as a division. And that would become x is equal to 33 divided by 3, which is equal to 11. So guys, now coming back to our 3 odd numbers here. So we have the first odd number, which is 6. So number 1 is 11. Apologies, not 6, 11. So that's the first odd number. The second odd number is 11 plus 2. So 11 plus 2, which gives me 13 here. And then the third odd number is, as we can see here, is the original plus 4. So 11 plus 4, which gives me 17. Not 17, gives me 15. So then if we were to add these 3 numbers here, so 11 plus 13 plus 15, it would give me the number 39. So our 3 consecutive odd numbers that add up to 39 are 11. So let me circle that, 11, 13, and the number 15. Now, let's have a look at the next question. Alrighty, so this question says, in the shot put event, Rosie threw the shot put 6 meters further than Faye. Their 2 throws together equaled 16 meters. How far did Rosie throw the shot put? Okay, again, a very similar type of question as before. So again, let's use some letterings to indicate which ones we're doing. So we have Rosie, who has thrown, let's say, X meters. And then Faye has thrown another bit here. So the question says, actually, in the shot put event, Rosie threw the shot put 6 meters further than Faye. So let's actually make Faye equals 6x, and Rosie can be x plus 6, because she has thrown 6 meters further than what Faye did, which is simply x meters. Now it says together they equaled 16 meters. So if you take Faye, which is x meters, and you then add it to Rosie, which is x plus 6, we would get a total of 16. So then, again, using some different colors, let's indicate our like terms. We have the x's here. So x plus x gives me 2x. Then we have the plus 6, which is equal to 16. Once again, guys, using our knowledge of how to deconstruct equations in order to solve them, we know that plus 6 needs to be getting rid of first. So we take it to the other side and it becomes a takeaway. So that becomes 2x equals 16 take away 6, which is basically 10. So 2x equals 10. Then we take the 2 over to the other side and it becomes a division. So it becomes x equals 10 divided by 2. And 10 divided by 2 gives me 5. So the question is, how far did Rosie throw the shot put? So x, guys, is the number that we found, is for Faye. So Faye is, or did throw 5 meters. Rosie, on the other hand, threw 6 meters further. So she threw 5 plus 6, which is 11 meters. And we can double check our answer, is because it says together they equaled 16 meters. So 11 plus 5, as we know, does in fact equal 16 meters. So we did in fact get the right answer. So to finish off this question, it would be, therefore, Rosie threw the shot put 11 meters. So guys, that brings us to the end of the linear equations chapter. I hope it was helpful. Please do make sure you have a go at the worksheets that I've attached at the end as well. And guys, this also does bring us to the end of the course itself. I hope this was helpful. We went through 8 different topics and did a number of different questions across these topics that are based around word problem solving. So I hope they were helpful. Make sure you have a go at the worksheets. Make sure you get in touch with me if you have any further questions. For my next course, I'll be looking at the beginners part 2, which will again build on some of the concepts that we did here and look at some more challenging questions. So thanks guys, and I will see you next time.